Grand Rising. Grand Rising. It's been a while since I posted or shared or even did anything like this. Uh, the event of my near death experience has, uh, to say the least, radically changed my perception. Um, the thing that made me push the button today to record, uh, I've been unplugged from mainstream media, television. Oh boy, since probably 2003, 2004, somewhere in that area. Initially, that came upon me. I had separated and was in the process of divorce from my former wife, and means were limited, and I basically couldn't afford cable television. I didn't have a laptop. I had a small portable television VCR deck, like one unit, and for entertainment, I watched VHS movies. And the place where I was living was literally right next door to the town library. So that's where uh, for lack of a better word, that's where I received my information, entertainment, whatever. And initially, it was unsettling because I felt like I was out of the loop. I didn't really know what was going on, but as time progressed, um, I realized something that was happening within myself. Um, a sense of greater peace, um, stillness, appreciation for what was around me, not being overly concerned um, with in particular with the news media, north, east, west, and south. If anybody out there is curious what news means, and it's uh, the information from all points, north, east, west, and south. News, um, plethora of useless information. In recent days, though, um, what I've noticed, and over the course of time, I became not. Here's the thing: it is virtually impossible in this place to be immune from the news, the media, all the things going on. It's virtually impossible. But we can limit our exposure to narratives. We can limit it. I'd like to say that we could wipe it out. Individually from our lives, but that has not been my experience. And what I mean by that is the pervasiveness, the incessant nature of these horrific stories of war and murder and rape and bigotry and racism and you know uh, all the evil that men do. You can't escape it. Not here. Not here. And it's a constant test of our own character. There's something that resounds with me. We become what we behold. This is more on a kind of humorous but flippant. You are what you eat. You are what you consume, and not just with food, but with your eyes, with your heart. What you consume with your heart, perpetuating a narrative of and even in this moment, that is, perpetuate, even sharing this story, I have a great deal of caution and hesitancy about even perpetuating the idea of the point I'm trying to make, because it brings it up. An idea can be a very, very powerful thing, a pebble in a pond. But what I experienced, and I've noticed it uh, in more recent months, um, over the past year or so, but it's been becoming more increasingly like glaring to my perception, what I'm picking up on, and what I've noticed, where this leads in from being unplugged, is I use my free will about what I watch, what I consume, that the things that I entertain in my life are healthy, not only physically healthy but emotionally and spiritually healthy. I watch predominantly. I use my computer to, I'm very discerning about what I watch, and I utilize YouTube a lot for my likes and the things that I want to engage with, as opposed to having to scroll through 500 channels on cable television. I know what I want to engage with. However, on YouTube there are commercials, and a lot of the commercials that they've been showing in more recent months are charitable charitable organizations, relief organizations, um, that are perpetuating ideas of want, lack, need, um, and as far as I'm concerned with these ads, they are a symptom. They are a symptom of a greater need, that our focus should not be on cleaning up the mess, but making sure that a mess isn't created in the first place. That would be a call for charity, a call for relief. And I find it doubly distasteful that these people that are in power, that push the buttons and uh, send my brothers and sisters to a place, um, or witnessing other people um, doing all manner of despicable things to one another. It's a perpetuation, and I want no part, none at all. I'm not responsible for the mess someone else makes as a private citizen. Yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna make a mess over here, but we're gonna keep you accountable. We're gonna have you clean it up via donations and charities and relief aid, etc. And I guess, not I guess anything, but where I'm going with this is I recall, um, this was probably 15, 20 years ago. Um, I was married at the time. My mindset was quite different then than it is now. I had not yet had my near death experience, yet I had something that I would consider to be a conscience, an idea of right and wrong. But it wasn't tuned to the frequency that I find myself in now. But I look back on that particular time in my life, and I wanted to be a good husband. I wanted to be a good provider, and a job opportunity arose, and it was for doing the job entailed um, maintenance, turning apartments and homes over for military personnel on a military base. As we probably all know, the military, it's travel intensive. You spend 6 months or a year here and you move, and it's just repetitive. So I was an outside vendor. I was not affiliated with the military, but we were outside vendors with a very large worldwide company who would go in and maintain, turn, improve, renovate military housing. And while initially I was grateful for the job and the experience that it gave me, as time went on and I spent more and more and more time on the military base, and I saw ships and submarines and soldiers, armed soldiers, and everything that it represented, it was really driving a dagger into me, into my conscience, a crisis of conscience, that even in this small, seemingly innocuous way, I was supporting and perpetuating an idea of war and everything that entails. Ultimately, within very short time after that began to happen within me, I did leave that job based on that reason. I am not going to participate in any way in something that I find offensive. But this subtle energy that I sense as I try to watch YouTube and these ads come up for charity and relief and aid to these damaged and destroyed places, these people who have been through acts of violence have been traumatized, and I've had encounters with some very large charitable organizations, which I'm not going to name here, but if you're familiar with the continental United States, if I was to say these names out loud, these charitable organizations, you would immediately recognize and not, yeah, I know these things. I know these establishments, these charitable organizations that he's referring to. And I had I'm sober, and part of my journey through sobriety was making amends for past deeds, past wrongs, etc. And some of these experiences that I had with these charitable organizations were like volunteer work, extensive. I'm not talking about a day or two here or a day or two there. I'm talking for years at a time, having daily encounters and volunteering my time to these charitable organizations. And what I came to find out the longer I stayed there and did this volunteer work, albeit my heart was in the right place, I realized that these charitable relief aid organizations were in fact not what they appeared to be. They were for-profit businesses, corporations led by larger corporations, even still. But the angle that they try to pull on our heartstrings to create a profit, but they pull on our heartstrings to get us to make these donations when these donations shouldn't be necessary in the first place. And I'm not going to watch the mainstream media to check in. I'm not going to go buy a newspaper. I'm not going to invite any of that energy into my into my awareness. But I assure you, it's virtually impossible to escape it. I would simply offer or suggest that you search your heart. Yes, it's atrocious what's happening, but let's not deal with the symptoms. Let's deal with the root cause. What is causing this problem? I'm not going to get into I will not, using my free will, I will not engage in a codependent relationship with war. They'll go push the button, you go clean it up by paying for the mess that we made. There's another example of this too. There was some fires recently within the past year or so in Hawaii. And there's all these millionaire, billionaire celebrities pleading with the population to send a donation, when in fact those millionaire billionaires with the swipe of a pen could have solved all those problems. If it was such an important thing to with a swipe of a pen, here's $1 billion, everybody's all set. You've got a new house, you got a new whatever. I am not perfect. Far from it. And it's in my experience, what my near-death experience has taught me, it is virtually impossible to live in this environment and not be touched by it. However, we have our free will, and how we react or respond to our environment is what matters. I'm simply offering a different perspective. This may offend some people. If you don't like it, get out. I've tried. They don't make it easy. Go live someplace else. I've tried. Literally, I've tried. And they don't make it easy, but that's a topic for another time. It's heart-wrenching. It is heart-wrenching. And to see images of what's going on and to feel powerless to do anything about it, and then to be presented with a solution to our feelings of powerlessness. Well, you can send a donation to this charitable organization and you feel like you have some control over the well-being of all these misplaced, displaced people from violent regions. And I cannot help but feel and sense that this is a codependent relationship that is trying to be fostered by the powers that be to have us include ourselves in their agendas. that we are going to be held equally responsible. To stand idly by and not say something about this, it was quite a powerful sensation. But to be complicit, or I would liken it to I would liken it to witnessing a murder. Yeah, I would liken it to witnessing a murder and then helping the murderer try to clean up the site. I that's what it feels like to me. That's how my heart receives that when they ask me to ask me via a commercial, an ad. Like, I'm not going to clean up your mess for you. Let's focus on what caused this mess in the first place and fix that, if there is any fixing. The cards are stacked, and I stand by this. Again, this goes to my near-death experience and the profound changes in my perception of this place. And I'll repeat again that what I experienced and what this is, this experience that we call Earth and human vessels, human bodies. My perception of this is a worn out, pale counterfeit of what is real, what we are. And going against our genuine nature and harming one another has consequences. There are consequences. I experienced that in my near-death experience. If I can, it's not even a question of it's not. It's rather arrogant. I am only in control of myself and my actions. If we collectively could focus on what's causing the need for homeless shelters and war relief and misplaced refugees, if we could focus on those things and stop giving our individual power and our free will over to the powers that be, and simply be excellent to one another, to share, to love, to express kindness, to listen more and speak less. But there are times when we need to speak. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Peace that surpasses your own understanding. An understanding that surpasses your own understanding. We are all held and safe. We are all held and safe. We are loved. I wish for one moment we could love one another the way I felt loved during my NDE. I wish we could all treat each other that way, and find some peace and make this place, make this place, transform this place into something that more resembles what I experienced a year and a few months ago. But I'll leave it there. I will leave it there. And I'm not going to say goodbye, but I will say peace. Find that peace. It resides within you. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful experience when you come to some realization, a moment of clarity about who we really are, and what has happened to this place. War is not a new thing. It's been around for a long, long time. We've been doing this to each other for a very long time. And it's time for a change. And that change starts here. Peace.